please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Where's my flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Justice for all.
welcome. We'll do our introductions. I am Vince Greiner from Hart.
Burns from Baldwin.
Shirley Chancellor, Mason County Eastern.
Carmina Hosa from Hart.
Mark Horn, Mason County Central.
Jim River Central, I guess.
Kathy Becker,
Go ahead, Kathy.
Kathy Becker, Mason County Eastern.
Tammy Savage.
Jamie Vanstra.
Carrie Harry. Amy Tranko.
Jason Jeffrey.
Oh, Trey Moore.
And just for clarification, Kathy's participating remotely, but I guess currently the rules we're operating under, she's not eligible to vote and have her vote count. So anyway, I think that's everyone. Thank you. And then we have approval of our agenda.
Also,
Support.
Motion by Jim with the support of Mark to approve the agenda as presented and prepared. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Do we have any written communication?
We do. We have one item from the Michigan School Business Officials, and Pam Mao has once again obtained a voluntary pupil accounting specialist certification, and she put in about 90 hours of professional development time to obtain that. And I think anybody that knows Pam or knows Pam's work knows how high quality it is. Maybe it's the training, maybe it's Pam, maybe it's both. But we'll share this with you. You can take a look at it.
Okay, we'll pass this around. Good for her. That's in 1 year's time or over a period of time that accumulate the 90 hours.
Yes.
Do you have anyone who wishes to address the board under the public sector?
Actually, I do. Is that okay?
Sure.
Can I say nice things about Kathy Becker? Is that permissible?
Sure.
Would you mute him, please?
I can't find a mute button.
Too late, Kathy, sorry. So, I think rumor has it we're towards the end of her tenure, whether it's this meeting, next meeting, or whatever. And so I just wanted to say that she's a rare thing these days. People who are truly public servants. Her tenure. You're not dead, I know that. But I was thinking about this today while I was mowing the lawn. Being on a school board is a pretty thankless task. Being on a local, being on the ESD. And so you've been doing thankless tasks for a long, long time now. And the public never says thank you. So we only get noticed here at the board level when there's a controversy or something bad happens. And, you've been tremendous at both the board level of Mason County Eastern here at West Shore ESD. And, your city leadership has been exemplary. And we don't make them like you anymore, Kathy. And I'm a pale invitation. And I keep every day. I'm thankful for the people who I've learned from, who've been mentors to me. And I just want to say thanks for all that you've done and all that you're going to do. Okay.
Thank you, Mark. No one is irreplaceable. Remember that.
You're pretty darn close.
You'll find someone that will serve you very well. I'm confident. But thank you
As
for
Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that.
Keep running.
good.
That's right.
Anyone else like to address the board under the public sector area? If not, we'll move on to our consent agenda. So, and we have payment of bills north of $937,000, minutes of our July 12 meeting. We have a resignation and some grants for Rural Education Achievement Program, $30,867. Section 31N6, monies of $34,581. Would anyone like to
So moved.
move that, and do we have support for it? Motion by Mark, supported Jim, to approve this consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Superintendent's informational report.
Well, officially, good evening, everybody.
How you doing?
Doing fantastic. I hope the same is true for everybody here. Thanks for spending a little time with us on a Tuesday evening. Trina is first in terms of the report, and I'm really looking forward to hearing her update in terms of what's happening with transportation. And just as she's getting herself ready to share with you, you might find it interesting to know that today we had two folks from Seg drive up from Lansing, from Bath, Michigan, and they spent a couple hours with Trina trying to gather some more information about how things are done at a place where they're really done well. So I think it's pretty cool when you have the insurance company that takes care of 550 schools, and they're sending their experts up to talk to Trina to say what kind of information can we share with the folks that we cover, so we're not paying out as much in premium, right? That really says a lot when you have the business community coming into the public sector to ask questions. So it says a lot about Trina and everybody on our transportation team.
Did you take them,
Well, probably.
you take them to the beach?
Oh, well, I told him I'd get there when
Okay.
I got up. Yeah,
So,
you go up this Trent. She thinks she closed up.
Um,
No, you're
Well,
good.
I
Where-
think she's just trying to hit the share, so anybody that might be watching can,
Yeah.
thank you, Carrie,
Yep.
can actually see the presentation. And I might have led her astray with that suggestion.
I don't know.
You're washing buses in Lake Michigan now?
Well, that'd be kind of
Not
cool, wouldn't it?
intentionally.
Eagle wouldn't like
Not
that.
bad.
Yeah, you probably get it from Scope in the Lake or something.
Okay.
Good, good.
Well, that's what I did.
It's a really nice picture.
Isn't that cool?
It's really cool.
It's nice to see them without the masks, Trina.
Yeah,
That's really cute. Wow.
and no seagulls.
That's right.
How do you do that?
I think they might have photoshopped them out.
Ah,
Oh, yeah. You want me to move it or? No, it's just gonna be more, where it belongs. The fact, okay, so,
that is not a quick.
that's not the right one, is it?
So
I'm just going to, otherwise I'll just do it. So obviously you can go to the next one. I kind of wanted to just go over some of the things that we've been doing. This was taken back in June, and we finally got our ceremonial signing of our bills that went into law. So yeah, a few months late, but here's a neat thing about this. This obviously is Jack, and then this is Eric, and that is his legislative person that is in his office. Here's a neat thing. This was the first one that was Jack got to do as well for the ceremonial signing. So, and he had said before, he said if we ever get to do a ceremonial signing, he really wanted these bills to be the first one because these were the first big package of bills that he got through that he said really had some something behind it that he could stand behind. So this was kind of really good for us to do. It was a different experience, but it was kind of fun. So you just go in and it's like.
Well, wasn't that a campaign promise, Trina, fix the damn buses?
Well, it should be listen to Trina, but that didn't work either. So here's some of the things. At MATT, we had our annual conference back in June, and as you can see, these are all of our bus drivers, and we had special guests as well. So what they did is we smoked some buses, and we had them do like they had a tag on that maybe they were autistic or they were a runner or they went and did some other thing. Try and understand why they had to do their emergency evacuation drills. We had Chad Kiva and Austin work there for the proactive response training, and they all got to do the ride of terror, which they all had blindfolds on, and they got put in a bus, and the driver was not driving very nicely. So that way they could get an understanding of maybe sometimes what our kids have to go through, and you know, when they're too short to see outside the window. So it gave them a different perspective, and some of them didn't like it as much. And then there's our whole team. Here's the thing that was really neat. We had a huge showing from the ESD. We had Josh Hayes was there, and he taught a class for us. Becky Skiba and Sarah Wellness were there, and they taught a class not only to all the supervisors. We had a supervisors conference going on at the same time with technicians, and then we had the drivers come in. But they also talked to the drivers, so that was really neat. Chad Skiba was there to help us. We had Mike Harry there, and then also we had, trying to think of who else was there. Jason came to see them, and you know, we told him afterwards, him sitting with the drivers really meant something. That, you know, he came to see them and spend time with them in their world and what they were doing. So it was really a neat experience, and for, like I said, for the West Shore ESD, we had a lot of people around, a lot of representation that went very, very well.
I think Kim and Carrie were there
Yeah,
too as
Kim
well.
and Carrie
They
came,
and
yep,
in the
checked on the
evening,
team.
yep.
It was nice. It was within driving distance, so it was
Yeah.
easy for us to do
Yep.
that.
Yeah, so this was in Reno that I went to just a couple weeks ago. I spoke on recruiting and retaining drivers and got booed because I was the only one there that was not short-staffed. So when you were, there was a panel of people there, and one of them was from Reno, Nevada, and she was about, I think, 75 drivers short or something around there. And the next one was, yeah, the one was from Las Vegas, she was 75 short, the other one was about 40 to 50 short. And I didn't say anything, and then somebody in the audience said, well, what are your numbers? And I said, oh, yeah, well, I'm not short. And there was a big boo session. So, you know. This one, we went and talked about the proactive response. It is a lot bigger than what it is just in our state. You know, it has gone to so many different states and in different areas. So it's really a neat experience that we get to go and share that still with everybody in it. There's still a big draw for it. We got actually asked to go back to Nevada and help fight this in legislation. And I said, I will help you to show you how, but really that fight needs to come from within their state. It can't come from Michigan. It's just a little wonky. But, and then the last one is a picture of us with the electric buses. While we were there, we also spoke about the electric buses. MAPT is huge into the grant process for the EPA. So we've kind of really been trying to help everybody that we can and show them what we have done 4 years ago, because we already had a pilot program. So that is one of the things that we were doing there as well. So this is a follow-up to the proactive response training, and I just got to point this out because he's my kid. He had to stand on a box because he was too short. So, you know, one of the things on how they make everything work when they film you. But so this was our river salvo room, and this is the follow-up to the proactive response training that we did 2 years ago. This is going to go in every advanced bus driver class again across the state of Michigan. So this is Estelle, and Estelle's story is extremely powerful, and it's hard to listen to. In fact, when she said her story for the first time, everybody was just silent. Nobody could say anything. And she finally looked at me and said, Trina, did I do okay? And everybody started stammering because it's so impactful. But she actually had her bus was taken at hijacked, or she was hijacked at knife point by a student that was on her bus. So her being able to talk about this and, you know, it took a lot of courage for her to do, and she's like a huge, strong person for, you know, our industry, and she says after 13 years, I am proud to call myself, yet again, a school bus driver. So very cool story. And then Austin and Chad kind of finished it out with things that you can do, things that you can ask, how you can react to kids, different questions that you can ask the kids and how you ask them, so that way you can kind of start to read some of their body language. And you know, they would talk to them about be careful with your tone because you can escalate things instead of de-escalate. So it was a really neat experience, and like I said, this is going to go out, it should start rolling out in September to the rest of the state. So a couple things in the community that we've done since we saw you guys last. This is the Mason County Prepare Fair that they put on, and this was done on the 11th last year, and at the same date, we also had our buses down in Scottsdale. So we did 2 separate events. Again, there's our really cool Santa Claus bus picture, and then this one was just done at the 10 spot down with the book bus. So, so these are some of the things that we are involved in. We're driver shortage. We've been contacted by the Detroit Pistons and now the Detroit Red Wings. The Pistons are going to do a game that is dedicated to the school bus drivers, and is going to come to bring to the forefront the shortage of school bus drivers, but also what a job that they do and the importance that they have. When I talked to them last time, well, we're going to pick what date the game is going to be on here pretty soon, because the schedule comes out within the next week or so. But when I talked to them last, one of their big things that they said is that they want to see this project grow for years to come, so this isn't going to be a one and done. So we're really excited about that. The electric school bus grant program, we're working with our local districts. We told everybody that we would help fill out the grant process. We're working with EPA, WRI, it's electric, and then the governor's office. So, you know, with the governor's office, the energy person that she has, she's been contacting us about every week, just about to make sure if there's anything that they can do to support us with this grant application process. Sinking funds, that's something that we've been kind of working on to see if there isn't any way that we can get the sinking fund or the school buses into the sinking funds, but we've got some heavy lifting to go on that one. So, but again, we're in the governor's office's ear to, you know, champion for the retirement legislation. Again, we're working with the governor's office on that one as well. I did tell them, you guys are going to regret that it took me 3 years to get my bills passed, because you taught me very well how to play the game. And they just laughed. So, you know, hopefully we can get some movement done. ELDT training, that one started in February, and it was absolutely wonderful. But we're working with our local districts, and then we also signed an agreement with Manistee ISD that we will train new drivers up in Manistee. So, but we are only going to we're going to funnel it all through Manistee ISD instead of everybody individually. Operation Safe Stop is going to come again for School Bus Safety Week, which is the second week in October. And we're working with state police on initiatives for that and Office of Highway Safety. And then we're still teaching the classes for MAPT and MSBO. But this one, the basic transportation management course, every single brand new supervisor in our state comes through the ESD. So it is a neat thing that we have been able to do. I'm still the only one in the state that teaches the course. And with that being said, we have a lot of influence on the new supervisors moving out, you know, forward. And I think last year, because we only do 24 about at a class, and I think last year we trained close to 80 or 90 brand new supervisors from across the state. So this is what we believe our efforts are going to do. We want obviously greater community cooperation in regard to our bus stops. We're still fighting for those laws and for people, to stop running our bus lights. Better understanding of the driver's roles. You know, a big thing is that we just want that old feeling of you're just a bus driver. Anybody can do that. You know, it's not real. And so we just want to bring that out. Increase driver awareness at every bus stop. Total student safety at every bus stop is what we really are striving for. Drivers training in accordance to new laws and regulations with the ELDT. We've got some other big ones coming down the pipeline as well. Awareness of the driver shortage and cleaner burning school buses. You know, we are looking at the electric school buses as well while this grant is coming up. But with all that said, I'm going to give a huge kudos to our staff and my team, because without them here and holding down the fort and doing all the things that they do each and every day so well, I can't go out and champion across the state or, lately across the country. So they are absolutely, they're just tremendous in what they do. So it's just a big, huge thank you to them. And they do it with such a positive attitude and they do it with the best intent. So, big kudos to the transportation staff. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Sinking fund, do you think you got a shot?
So, okay. Yes,
That would be great,
I may.
really great.
So currently the sinking fund, is it's in the House and it's in the Senate and it is put in by Democrats. So, moving on the other side, we've got some issues, but it's okay because we need it to not just say electric school buses, it has to say school buses. So if we get an amendment put in that says school buses, we think we can get it passed. We had it just about passed several years ago. It went actually past the House and it passed the Senate, but then it got bumped when it got to the chamber. So in talks with the governor's office, that's our big thing is why are they kicking it back at the chamber? What is going on? I said, I don't mind fighting it, but I have to know what I'm fighting in order to figure out a way to win. So they're supposed to be working on that, but even they said we've got hopefully a avenue during lame duck, and we're also talking with them about in the school aid act they have a transportation line that has had 0 in it for years. It's been a placeholder, and I said, seriously, if you look at across the country, Michigan is one of the very few states that does not reimburse their transportation. I said, so if you look at adding a dollar amount to there, as well as, per pupil on there, as well as doing the sinking fund, I said, think about how much money is going to go back into those classrooms. I said, especially for these electric buses, they're $375,000, when you can get $100,000 for a diesel burning bus. So there's a huge difference. I said, so if we can keep that money at, in the classroom, stop taking out of it, and then if you put a dollar amount behind on that line item, then what other things can you do? Maybe you can start retaining those drivers or do better things with the other drivers and with the staff and everything like that. So I think we really have the ear of some of the people in her office. They're talking about lame duck. I said, well, I'm glad you guys said that and not me, but maybe. I'm not gonna guarantee this one, but we're gonna push it as much as what we can, so.
I just want to say, when we were in Traverse last week, I was talking to Jack O'Malley, and boy, we are lucky to have you. Just at your time and moment. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I wanted to thank them for
Yeah,
the support.
yeah, he was amazing support, and him going and learn how to drive a school bus too after that. I mean, it just kind of solidified everything, because not everybody knows what we do and why we do it, and then for him to actually sit in the bus and go and drive it, it was a neat thing for him. So yeah, we're glad for all his support. So, but that's about what we're up to.
I would just add, Trina, I think it's pretty significant that, you built that relationship with him, because he hasn't always been the strongest proponent of education. And the fact that you've done that, I think it's probably helping in some other areas too. And I know when he came to visit us on campus that day, I just thought, boy, this is really nice. I'm not sure that this would have happened 4 or 5 years ago. So appreciate you doing
Yeah.
Sad part of it is redistricting and
Yeah.
term limits are taking a lot of play.
Well, he's still, it's taking him out of place here, but I told him, I said, oh, I'm still calling him, so. He can't get rid of me just because he moved districts, sorry. He may regret that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Trina.
Thank you very much, Christina.
One of these days I'm gonna wise up and I'm gonna go before the presentation.
No, it's good.
I do have just 2 quick items if it's okay, Vince. First one is, before I touch base on the opening day event and just share a little information with you on that, wanted to give you a quick report on the superintendent's retreat, which I think we talked about last month, and that happened at the end of July. Just to follow up, it was well attended by superintendents from all 3 of our counties. We really only had one of our 9 that wasn't in attendance and had a pretty good reason with a child, getting married during the retreat. So we gave them a pass on that. Great discussion. It included some professional learning for us with folks that had expertise in the state budget and legislation and legal issues. We actually had Brad Banasic come in. So we had some great help from the outside in terms of our time together. And we also spent quite a bit of time on the designated surplus funds discussion for special education. And Kim and Carrie came to support that. And we were able to do some brainstorming and generate a list of items which the superintendents were able to prioritize. And kind of a second step with that is to have a similar conversation with the principals. And Amy was also there with us and really did a nice job of getting us started on a discussion that is really important for us to have, equally important, I think, to the fund balance discussion, which is trying to set some goals together as a region. And we didn't walk out of the meeting with those goals, but we walked out of the meeting with that group saying, this was a really good start. We need to continue that. And they actually wanted to have a meeting between the end of the retreat and our next meeting to do it. Of course, schedules wouldn't let us, but we're dedicating some time in September to that. So I wanted to thank them for coming and supporting the retreat, and just to share with you guys that it was a good discussion and we're on our way. And I'll keep you informed and updated about those 2 things, because I know that you're all very interested in them. In terms of opening day, I mean, the new school year is knocking on the door for everybody, and just wanted you to be aware that we're going to be welcoming everybody back officially on the 29th. And, we've tried to use a local school district to do that, to, just have that empathy and kind of have that grounding that this is why we're here. And we're going to be back at Mason County Central this year. We're going to start around 7 o'clock. If any board members, and I know you're all busy, but if anyone is able to attend and wanted to stop, there'll be a little bit of a breakfast between 7 and about 8:30 a.m. Then we have a brief program, and we're trying to keep it brief because we know people want to get to their classrooms and department meetings and offices and, prepare for the beginning of the year. That'll take us to 9:30ish, and then we're going to take a team picture, and then we're going to get on with our day. But I just wanted to invite board members to attend if you're interested. And that's it for me, unless there are any questions. We're excited to get school rolling again.
Short summer.
Yeah.
Always is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jeffrey. Instructional services reports. Amy, you're
Yeah,
alphabetically first.
okay, I'm on page 10, where it starts there, and so just a rundown of some professional learning. If you were to compare these back to last summer, we have quite a few more events going on, at least in person, and wait till September, because the August calendar, we have one, if not multiple events every day in terms of professional learning this month. So it's nice to see people back in the building eager to learn, and the PLs being very well received by our locals. So we also have the GSRP documents there for the second reading this month. In terms of also a Great Start Readiness Program, we had an advisory meeting in July where we were finally able to finalize a new 8-step salary scale, which is a big move forward. It's been a priority this year to look at having something consistent for our staff, and to be able to show them that each year there will be an increase built in. Is such a nice place to be when from year to year they just haven't known, given the funding from the state that was so behind the times, so to speak. So the other thing that we were able to do is looked at, we had some surplus money from being held harmless the last few years, and one of the things the group had decided to do was to supplement some of that pay and benefit proposal, and so it won't have an impact on the districts for the next 3 years. We're able to pay for that without impacting their portion of the budget they get. And you'll see a motion coming up, it's allowing us to contract for some early childhood specialist services that were eliminated a few years ago when we were in a deficit. So to have them say, yes, we need that extra coaching support and things for our teachers is such a great place to be. And then to have the funds to do it, again, without impact to their budgets for the next 3 years is a really cherry on top of that. So that group has come a long way, and we really enjoy partnering with them to make some of those decisions. Next, you have quite a photo album here, just putting in a bunch of pictures from our events. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So we are continuing with our book walk, and this time we had one that included a ride. So we partnered with a local agency. You can see there the Shoreline Force and Safe Kids. So they gave out bike helmets and things. Well, and then everyone rode around for the book walk there. As Trina mentioned, we had on page 12, we had the ESD took over the 10 spot, which is the food truck park in the middle of Ludington. And it was a beautiful day, and it was just really great to have all of our departments here at West Shore partner, the transportation early on, and then multiple sections of my department were there. And it was just really great to hang out and have some fun and interact with the community at that level. And then you can see there's our play and learns that are in music and plays, which are occurring in all 3 counties. So just some pictures and flyers from that. And then on page 13, Meg did a really great training, and I had a lot of good feedback, which you can read there related to math. And then lastly, there is our request for approval to enter into a independent contract with Jenny Gebhardt for early childhood specialist services. Jenny, if you aren't aware, was a lead teacher and program director down in Pentwater for, I don't know how long, but a long time. And so we're really fortunate that she's in a position with her expertise to come in and assist with that. So any questions from my report?
Thank you, Amy. We have 2 motions in response to Amy's work that we need to support. First is, well, the staff hand, or the student handbook for the GSRP. So the second reading of that, we submitted that palette of packages we gave you last month. So if you're done reading it, you can approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Shirley with Ellen's support to approve the GSRP family handbook. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have the motion to contract with Jenny Gebhardt as an early childhood specialist.
I'll move.
Motion by Jim with support of Irma. Any discussion? This is something we've not been able to do previously, or we had been and we're suspended doing what?
We actually had a full-time employee in this position in 2019, and then given the GSRP deficit, that's when the advisory committee formed, and the recommendation to meet that deficit was to eliminate that position. So instead of turning right back down, right around and hiring again, we're going to try contracting services independently and hopefully work our way up. But that's where we want to start, to at least give some support to our teachers by having more frequent coaching, conversations and observations and stuff, and also help with the subbing shortage, which hits us hard, especially in the winter.
And having this type of an arrangement at this point in time, you know, we felt was
Sustainable, yeah.
Sustainable longer
With the
term.
money till we know more about what they'll do with the budget. So.
Any further questions on the motion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Opposed? That motion carries. And under the special education report, Kim, who's not present, she has a written report. Does anyone have any comments or questions regarding it?
Just to share with the board, Kim and some of our special education administrators are at the state conference learning about new special ed law and other things.
Okay, if there's no further discussion on Kim's report, go to Jamie's CTE.
Wait, don't we
I'm
have
sorry,
to
did
vote
I
on
have?
Two motions.
Thank you, Tracy. Oh. Here we go. I'm looking at the wrong page. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So we got the second reading approval of the special education student parent handbook.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Shirley's motion with Ellen's support to approve the handbook. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And then we have the to enter into a contract with Michigan Rehab Services for $22,000.
I'll move that one.
Support.
Motion by Jim with support of Mark to approve that contract. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. That one's a really good deal for us.
Now we'll go to Jamie's report. See, how I keep messing up because I'm looking at the written reports and I'm not looking at the agenda when I do that, so.
It's all those pictures.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Too many words, pictures. Okay, now, I think we are ready for you, Jamie.
All right, well, my report begins on the bottom of page 15, and it begins with the submission of the CTE student handbook, the second reading of that handbook. And then on the top of page 16, it continues and talks about the summer conference, the CTE conference, and it said that we will attend, but Chad and I attended now at this point last week on that conference in Traverse City. And it was a great experience. I think, it was a great opportunity for Chad to get to kind of step into that CTE world and start really learning more in depth about that and to meet, some of the colleagues that he'll be working with. So that was a great opportunity. We had the chance to sit with some staff from OCTE at our table all, for the 2 days, which was a good thing. So jumping to the next one, technologies. We are requesting approval to purchase devices for the IT program. So those computers are a little bit more high power computers than your typical computers that we would buy for CT program, hence the cost, the individual unit cost is a little higher. And so I'm requesting to purchase 25 Dell Mobile Precision 3571 computers from Presidio through the Ramsey State Competitive Bid System for the total on that is $27,025. And then just wanted to highlight some curriculum development. There's a number of teachers at CTE who really put in some extra time this summer to develop curriculum. Just starting to continuing. There's a transition from the state as well to move from segments to competencies, and I wanted to make sure you were aware of that work. And so the state is gradually asking CT programs to make that transition. So it's a transition away the curriculum organized, and really also it's an update to the curriculum. So in a number of programs, that curriculum has not been updated in quite a few years, and so those two things occur. And like I said in the report, it's done in cohorts, and so they usually have 4 to 6 programs each year that they ask to kind of start making that transition. So you're not trying to do that all at one time with all of your programs. So with that push, and then as well, just I think with the push of our staff to be excellent and to do things well, there's a number of teachers that are revamping their curriculum. And so I highlighted some of those in this report. A couple that I highlighted were Shannon Miller, John Hughes, Mark Willis, Melissa Fury, and Megan Maltby, and highlighted the work of Megan Maltby and Shannon Miller, especially. Shannon's actually been working on a really cool project about food truck. So she had kind of been doing that as a unit. She kind of piloted that as a unit last year in a smaller way, and now she's working really to almost create her whole class around the idea of a food truck where they would develop different units of learning that really meet the state standards. It's pretty exciting. So, and then the cross-curricular piece of that would be that we're talking with welding about welding a frame, eventually building a food truck, and welding the frame. That welding would do welding and mechatronics would develop the frame, because mechatronics, there's a lot with the frame on a truck like that it all works mechanically and from an engineering standpoint the way you want it to. And then welding would weld that, and then the following year, construction trades would actually build that out into an actual working food truck. So that's something that we're working to develop that idea, but that right now it's just it's kind of in the planning phases. So I want to make sure we're that. And then with Megan Maltby, she's introducing drones to her class this year, which is pretty significant. So she'll be, that's a real hot topic in the CT world, and it really applies to different areas. And so we're going to apply it to the digital media, and she's going to be doing a lot of work with her students. So I actually have the opportunity to get certified in flying drones.
And when they get the truck built, they're gonna turn it over to the culinary arts then, right?
There you go.
It never ends, does it?
Yeah. So there's an update.
Thank you, Jamie. Any comments or questions for Jamie? Thank you. So we have a motion to approve the CTE handbook.
I'll move with him.
Motion by Jim with Shirley support to approve the handbook. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And now we have the purchase of the computers, laptops for the program. Anyone want to offer that as a motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Shirley with Ellen support to approve it. Discussion? Is Presidio like after, they're apparently purchasing from Dell and they're doing some additional modifications to them.
Yeah, Presidio would be the actual company that is submitting the units to REMC. So it's through REMC, but Presidio is the actual company that we purchased from.
So, further discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And business office update.
Mr. President, so on page 19 is where my report begins. First off, collaborative services update. So, our collaborative services team is knee deep in financial statement audit preparation, or actually audits at this point in time, as I think some of you know because you met with our auditors today. So to date, there's been successful completion of both Mason County Eastern and Pentwater's audits, with Walkerville and Hart left to go. And both of those will occur in September. And ours here, by the way, at the ESD will be the first week in September. As far as collaborative services, we're also working on providing some limited Tyler Munis financial software training and support for Shelby schools too. We started last week and really, to help assist in the transition of their new business manager, who doesn't have any Munis experience, but has, previous school district software experience. And then I guess one other thing I didn't know in here is, we're moving forward on the Ludington conversion as well. We meet with Ludington tomorrow afternoon to work on, developing more details of our plan for their Munis transition, which will, start this fall. And then moving on to next capital projects update. So the capital projects, or the Building and Grounds Committee met on Tuesday, July 19th, and went over this timeline. You saw some of these items listed in my last board report, but we've prescribed more of a timeline to it. So this is just an updated timeline, so you get an idea of what work is happening at what point in time. And as part of our discussion with the Building and Grounds Committee, we're recommending the low bid with Wolfgang Paving LLC of $34,000 for the paving of the nature walking trail. That is part of the work that's slated to start as soon as possible, actually, after your approval. And then moving into September, there's more playground modernization and expansion project. And I'll be remiss, or maybe I should say I'm kicking myself because I meant to bring the drawings with me to this meeting for you guys. When you go out to see the book bus, because that's last on our agenda, I'm gonna go quickly grab in my office those drawings so you guys can see them. We have some renderings that we had an architect draw up for us, and they're very, very nice, really to help us with, visionary, and also for going out for bids for some of the playground work, and also to give really all of the vendors an idea of what we're trying to accomplish too, as we're starting to move towards expanding our outdoor space for, our staff here and students at West Shore ESD. And the plan is that, we'd really like to have a lot of different spaces for our students, because when you think about the variety of kiddos, that we work with, there are students that are in wheelchairs, anywhere from birth to age 26. So it really expanding those outdoor spaces to provide, maybe some family activities. So there's going to be a book walk incorporated into the nature trail. There's also going to be some sensory type instruments, etc., incorporated into the trail. You'll get a better idea once you see the drawings. So I apologize, I should have had them with me, but I'll make sure to go get those when you guys are out in the bus to give you a little more visual. And certainly, when you look at the drawings, you'll probably feel a little more level of excitement seeing them and understanding of the work that we're trying to do. But we're just starting to move forward with all of that. And that work, you guys probably recall, we had a playground committee that started pre-COVID, actually, because our plans were to renovate all along the playground, because our playground is really out of date significantly. We've had, an insurance analysis done on it, and they've said you really need to upgrade all of your equipment because it's really, pretty old and pretty outdated, and could be some risk there relative to the students. So we're really trying to modernize the whole playground and provide lots of different varieties of outdoor spaces for them, for our kiddos. And we would hope that our programs that are out in our local districts too, that, they would maybe entertain having some field trips here to, engage in the nature trail or the playground or whatnot. Lastly, technology update. So Josh, on page 20, the Illuminate data warehouse system, we're looking for your approval as well on that license. This is a renewal license, and as you can see in Josh's report, really just a small portion of that is West Shore ESD's cost. The majority of that is billed back to our local school district, so it's really the local school district's cost. This data warehouse houses many different types of data that's collected and utilized by a lot of our instructional services and our special education team. In fact, Mark has probably utilized some of that data in some of their school improvement teams and goal setting and analysis as well. And so I guess the last thing too is under Josh's update, you can see that he's included some discussion in terms of Crawford Sable, and actually that has come to fruition. So we're continuing to expand our territory with ETA as well. So kind of goes along with some of the things that Trina has done in terms of we start doing our work really well, very high quality, and people want to kind of increase and tap into how they can learn a little bit more about why things are going as well as they are here at West Shore ESD. So that's it for me. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Carrie. And we have first a bid for $34,000 from Wolfgang Paving for the nature trail.
I move we're making a nature trail.
Motion by Jim with Shirley's support to pave over a nature trail. That doesn't sound right, but that's what we're gonna do. So,
Use your trouble.
any discussion?
Half, less than half is outfit credible.
Yep, yep,
And
so.
there's the sales t-shirts of baby. Bell, what t-shirt was? Bella's t-shirts. They're the baby version of Bella's t-shirts.
So Wolfgang is a reputable firm, and they've branched off from one of the other existing paving vendors recently in the last couple of years. But our folks, I can assure you, our folks did go out and visit a couple of the sites. They provide high quality work and in comparable types of trails that we need, like one was a campground. Because I had the same reservations you did, Mark, as I said, gosh, what the heck? Yeah, we asked around. We also tapped into our residential Mason County guru, on the board, Mr. Dittmer, and Shirley, can attest to this too. We had that conversation at Building and Grounds too. So we feel like we have done our homework. All of his customers that we spoke with, which there were 3 different customers that our group, spoke with, that they came highly recommended, that there were no complaints about the work. He's simply just trying to get his name out there in both the residential and the commercial side, because it's kind of tough with having, Reeve Riley and Brian Seal Coating being in this community for a very long time and have a great customer base. So
Thanks for doing your due diligence.
Gotta start somewhere.
I thought you'd ask that first, Mark.
Any other discussion on the paving motion? Not, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now we have the data warehouse. It says, is that a license? I've forgotten what that is exactly.
It is.
Something technical. So good thing Josh is handling it for us. So anyway, we have this motion to expend a little over 35,000 for that software product.
I'll make a motion.
So support.
Motion by Shirley with Mark's support. Any discussion? If not, we shall vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, very good. And Tammy, what's going on?
Thank you, Mr. Greiner. My HR report starts on page 22. We still have a lengthy list of job postings. We are making some good progress on those. We'll start to see some hires come in on the next board report. We have a reassignment, Amy Mesher, ECSE teacher, to the special education supervisor position effective the 18th of July. GSRP teacher resignation, associate teacher resignation. And then a labor market study proposal. In order to retain our talent that we have as part of Strategy 6, we're asking once again to use Hiring Solutions to conduct a labor market analysis. Last time we did this analysis was in 14-15. And we've identified 50 positions here that we'd like them to take a look at. That would give us a really comprehensive view within the ESD of how our current salary structures are aligning internally, but also externally with the market. It is a very difficult labor market out there. And our work for this would be done in 2 tiers. We would send the first group of positions to them in the fall here of 22 in the next couple of weeks. The second group we would send in the winter of 23, and those would be the 2 union groups in preparation for negotiations. So the cost of this proposal is $550 per position for a total of $27,500. Any questions on that portion? And then new positions, we're also recommending 2 new positions for the 22-23 school year. The ABF committee met on July 19th, and we recommend to the full board the creation of a new general education social worker mental health provider position. This would increase the scope of being able to address the mental health needs within our local school districts. Be funded 100% through 31N. And then we are required to do the 20% match with existing ESD special ed expenditures. And then the other addition would be also an ABF committee recommendation of an additional ASM CTE office professional to meet the high level of student support that's needed out there related to things like state compliance and just the course structure you've heard Jamie talk about. So that position would support CTE 2 days a week and ASM Tech 3 days a week. And then the last couple of items, GSRP pay scale update. Amy mentioned this as well, that back in July, we presented some pay scales to you, and the GSRP advisory committee has landed on the 8-step scale. And then workplace wellness, the WSESD or West Shore ESD handbook was also given, the bigger one was given for a second reading. I just want to take a moment to thank Tracy for all of her work on the handbooks. Without her, we couldn't have these ready for you. She just did a great job, so really appreciate everything you did.
Thank you, Tammy. Any questions or comments for Tammy? No. So first we have the motion to enter an agreement with Hiring Solutions for the labor market analysis.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Mark with Jim support to execute the agreement. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. And now we go to superintendent's recommendations, I think, right? I haven't missed a page.
Yeah, no, we're in the right spot, and thanks Tammy for explaining what we'd like to do with Amy in terms of moving her into a special ed supervisor position. We're pretty excited about that, so we'd love it if you'd let us do that.
We have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Support. Motion by Shirley with support of Jim to do the reassignment. Discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And we have some positions to create.
Yep, first on the list is the shared clerical position for ASM Tech and CTE.
Support.
Motion by Jim with Mark's support to create the position, one full-time equivalent to support ASM Tech as well as the CTE office. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And the next one,
The next one is the general education social worker. We often refer to that position as 31N social worker since it's grant funded.
is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Support.
Helen moved with Mark's support to create that general ed social worker, mental health provider. Discussion? Not all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, thanks for those.
Yep. And we have any other matters for discussion before we adjourn? If not, we're out of here.
Very good. And so the plan is we're gonna take a peek at the bus, anybody that wants to, and Carrie's gonna grab those drawings. If people want to.
Bye, all.